Ladies and gents, we are back yet again, and this is going to be another banger video. But before we get into the video, I want to share something and discuss something real quick that I believe that I want to talk about just for a quick few seconds before we get into the video. So I'm going to do a little something new with the channel. Every video, we're going to discuss a new Star Wars update or things that I feel that should be discussed a little bit and stuff like that. So our first update in news is the Jedi Knight Star Wars comic. This is the first issue of this series, and honestly, I can say without a doubt, it's really good. I suggest reading this if you are heavily into Star Wars, and especially if you're heavily into the Jedi, if you're heavily into the Galactic Republic, Clone War era, stuff like that. We definitely have a lot of known Jedi in this comic book series so far. We have Aayla Secura, we have Luminara, we have Shakti, we have Kit Fisto, Plo Koon, Count Dooku, Master Qui-Gon, Yoda, Mace, Windu. We have even Padawan Obi-Wan. And we also this comic book also introduces new Jedi that were, well, supposedly that I never heard of too. But yeah, if you're into Star Wars, if you're into the Jedi and stuff like that, especially in this time frame of Star Wars, like I said, the Galactic Republic / Clone War era, this is a really good start to this. Really nice art, really nice storytelling so far. They really introduced new Jedi characters really well in this, so we get a mix and blend of familiar characters with new characters. But yeah, like I suggest, if you're into Star Wars, Jedi, stuff like that, and if you're into this time frame of Star Wars, I really suggest giving this a shot. But other than that, let's get right into the video.
Sir.
Alright folks, now that we're in the game, yeah. I know when it comes to GLs and big farming and stuff like that, you know, we all need to take a break, you know, especially with the Lightspeed bundles and all these Lightspeed bundles and stuff like that that are in the game. You know, every now and then we need to take a break. This video is going to be based on my top 5 best teams to farm in this game that are non-GL teams. Top 5 non-GL teams that, in my opinion, like I said, this is my opinion. My opinion may differ and vary from yours, which is okay. We all have our own opinions and stuff like that. We're all entitled to our own opinions. However, these teams that are that I'm going to be listing are based off of variety, how well they perform in the game, and requirements for other things, and overall quality of the teams. So yeah, this is gonna be an interesting one, but let's get into it. So coming in at number 5, Starkiller, the Starkiller team, with Palpatine, Starkiller, and Myra Jade as, you know, the main 3 of this team. Then you can add another a light side Ufu, or a Jedi and stuff like that to complete the team. Now, Starkiller, his team is ranked at number 5 at the bottom of the list. I'm going bottom to the top. So Starkiller, in my opinion, is number 5 because overall Starkiller doesn't really get you anything in return. It doesn't get you any mods in return, no fleets in return. He's only really good in 2 modes, in Grand Arena, obviously, and in Territory War, if you have Juhani and her Omnicron on the team in TW, because in TW without Juhani Kron, it doesn't really perform the same. But yeah, Starkiller, the good thing about Starkiller's team though is you can have a different you can make it versatile, you know, with Starkiller. You can have like let's see, for example, Starkiller, you can have a bunch of different Jedi. Like when I first got my Starkiller team, I had Old Ben on the team, right? It was Palpatine, Old Ben, Starkiller, Myra Jade, and then Visas, right? Visas, whatever, you know. And then sometimes I would have Hermit Yoda and the team because I like his what's it called, his master's training. I give it to Starkiller, which equals more offense, defense, accuracy, and all these other things that I give to Starkiller. You know, also he has the healing. He heals everybody, all the allies on the team, regardless if they're Jedi or not. He also grants the foresight on his master's healing as well. But like I said, this team is a GL killer. Yes, it can take out quite a bit of GLs. It can take out quite a bit of teams. It's definitely an S tier team, especially in Grand Arena. Like Grand Arena is like the solidified basis of Starkiller, and everybody basically knows this about him. The disappointing thing is, like I said, he doesn't give you any investment, like no beneficial investment return. He does not give you any mods, no fleets, no ships, no, he's not like requirements for anything else too. So yeah, that's why he's at the bottom of the list for me, but still an amazing team nonetheless. If you are GAC focused and even TW focused, if you have, like I said, Juhani here with Starkiller, because without Juhani and the Kron, it's not really performing the same way as it would in Grand Arena. That's what the Juhani Kron is there for. Starkiller does also have his own Datacron, but that Datacron set expired. But other than that, yeah, like in other game modes too, like in Conquest or Squad Arena or Territory Battle, regardless of what TB you're doing, Rote, Dark Side Geo, Light Side Geo, whatever TB you're doing, he just does not really perform the same and out of the other game modes compared to especially Grand Arena and TW with the Juhani Kron. You know, I can't stress that enough. But other than that, like the overall quality of the team and their abilities and their synergy is amazing. Like I said, GL killer for sure. But everything else outside of Grand Arena and TW, not really there. It's like a really hard miss, and that's what's disappointing about this team. But nonetheless, still an amazing team by itself, and the quality and the synergy of the team and the versatility of what you can do with this team is straight S tier. But other than that, let's go to my number 4 ranking. Now, the number 4 for me, honestly, has to be the Malicos and Cere Junda combo UFU team. Now, this team is a little bit better than the Starkiller team. Why? Because Cere and baby Cal. Cere is, these are requirements for Jedi Knight Cal Kestis, Cere and baby Cal, right? These two get you a journey event character, and they also get you Kyrotex as well, and Rise of the Empire for the Zepho mission with Cere Junda and then Jedi Knight Cal Kestis. And then the overall quality of this team, especially in Grand Arena, is automatic S tier. Automatic S tier in Grand Arena. I've used this team a lot in Grand Arena on offense. This is mainly an offensive team. If you put this on defense, it can do okay, but there's still ways to, you know, counter this and stuff like that. JMK can't easily destroy this. Just you throw a JMK against this team on defense, and JMK just pass the turn to Ahsoka, instant cooldown, instant kill on Malicos. It's dead. Malicos dies, the whole team just falls apart really quickly. So I would not recommend putting this team on defense. Leia beats this team as well. I've tried to use this team against Leia on defense, and Leia just destroys this team, and it's really bad. But like I said, do not put this on defense. Put this on offense. You can still take out a lot of things. You could take out Rey with this. You can I take out Quadme with this team. I've taken out Slickers. I've even taken out Sith Eternal teams and stuff like that. Like, this is another S tier team, don't get me wrong, for its quality, but just don't put it on defense. This is an offensive team. And like I said, this team is a little bit better because, you know, they give you the two major requirements for Jedi Knight Cal Kestis, which leads into Kyrotex, into the Zepho mission for Rise of the Empire. And like I said, this team has a little bit more better investment in return when it comes to those high gear pieces like Kyrotex, like I just said. But this team is also versatile too. This is basically an all UFUs team, so as long as, like, the more UFUs you have, the more versatile you can be with this team. Like Nine Sister, yeah, I have here, I use her most of the time as a tank, and then sometimes if I want like a real pre-taunting tank at the beginning of the match, I can throw in a Crew here, and I have him R8 for a reason, so he could, you know, survive longer and take more hits because he's a tank too. There's other different variations that I've seen people have this team with. I've seen Scavenger Ray in here. I've seen Ventress in here before. I've even seen Starkiller in here sometimes too. Like, even though Starkiller has some synergy, the way Starkiller's team works is meets the specific requirements. But if you're more focused on a Malicos UFU team, Starkiller can be on this team. But if you're trying to make this more of a Starkiller team, then this team doesn't really work because you need the specific requirements: one Sith, one Jedi, one Dark Side UFU, one Light Side UFU. But I've also seen Jedi Training Ray here sometimes too. I've seen one time I saw Commander Ahsoka Tano on this team. All UFUs, yeah, it works, but she really does not belong on this team. But like I said, like, there's a lot of different versatile ways that you can explore and do other things with this team that you can't really do with Starkiller, because Starkiller has a specific requirements to meet his team needs. But this team right here, just the Cere team, Malicos team, is just all UFUs, you know, so it's just one whole fraction. And like I said, the more UFUs you have, the different things you can try out and explore. But yeah, this team doesn't give you any mods, it doesn't give you assault battles, it doesn't really give you fleets or anything like that. But like I said, this is a little bit ranked higher than Starkiller because, like I said, you need Cere and you need Baby Cal. Gives you Jedi Knight Cal Kestis, and then that leads into Zepho mission and Rise of the Empire, which leads to more star count and your guild's rote and more Kyrotex. So yeah, that's why I would place this at number 4. Now let's move on to number 3. Coming in at number 3 spot has to be no other than Mommy Bo Mandalore team. Now, this team, believe it or not, offers a lot more. One, Bo Mandalore herself. The farm is now easy. The entire farm is now accelerated, right? The farm it used to be, you know, single shard drop to get Bo Mandalore a while ago. Now her farm is it's all accelerated, right? I've even had someone ask me, I remember someone in my stream, one of my streams, they're like, oh, where should I go? I want to take a break. I don't want to farm anything big. And I told them Bo Mandalore. Why? Because the whole entire farm is accelerated. It gets you Kyrotex as well when you unlock the Mandalore mission and Rote. And it's not that expensive. It's only the 4 characters. Bam, IG-12, Paz Vizsla, Kelleran Beck, and I forgot who's the last one. It's only 4 characters, right? Yeah, Bam, Kelleran Beck, Paz Vizsla, and IG-12, right? So I cannot stress it enough with this team. This is another S tier team. It gives you even a little bit more. With Bo Mandalore and Grand Arena, absolutely amazing. Her team is also okay outside of Grand Arena as well. I've used Bo Mandalore team to kill other teams in TW as well. I've used her in Conquest just to F around and stuff. But yeah, this is another, in terms of quality, S tier team, especially in Grand Arena. We also have Bam here, which is a legendary, it's just another legendary journey guide character itself. So you basically have two journey guide characters synergized together, mixed in. Also, Bam is the pilot for Razor Crest, which leads into the Executor farm. So this, it like kind of works together once you have the team, and then also if you're farming for Executor at the same time. So you see where I'm going? You see how I'm going there? Yeah, these are all other great characters too. If you're going for the Bo Mandalore team, this is the real team that you want to have. Other Mandalorians like regular Mando or Sabine or the Armorer, I mean, they're not really great. This is like the solidified Bo Mandalore team. You want to have Bam, Paz, IG-12, and then Bo-Katan, Kryze, OG Bo. I mean, I've tried the Armorer here before, but it's just not as great as having OG Bo, especially with her unique here, extra protection and health and recovery protection, attacking out of turn, which is really nice with this team, especially because this team loves to assist and attack out of turn with Mommy Bo. And then, yeah, honestly, this team does okay outside of GAC. It's really well in GAC. It gives you more Kyra techs and gives you more star count as well. You also have a character in this team which gives you a ship, which leads to the Executor farm, like how I stated before. And this ship, this farm, the Bo Mandalore farm, actually lifts up the Razor Crest, because let's say if you don't have Bo Mandalore, but you do have Razor Crest and you have Bam, and Bo Mandalore, Bam is required at Relic 7. So Relic 7 Razor Crest is way better than not having a Relic Razor Crest at all, and you just have, let's say Bam is like R3. Because before I went for Bo Mandalore, my Bam was like R3 for the longest, and now that I have Bo Mandalore, my Razor Crest is now R7, because Bam is a required R7 for getting Bo Mandalore unlocked. But in terms of quality, amazing. Outside of Grand Arena, she does decently well. Okay, she gets you that Mandalore mission in Rote, which leads to more Kyrotex, and you have a character on the team that has the ability to pilot the Razor Crest, which enhances the Executor fleet even more. So with that being said, I honestly rank this team at number 3 in my opinion. Let's move on to the number 2 ranked. Coming in at number 2 is Reva and her Inquisitors. Notice how I said Reva and her Inquisitors, because if Reva was not on this team would not be on this list at all, because Reva completely transforms this entire team to an absolute decimation, destroying teams, especially in Grand Arena. I don't know how many times I have destroyed teams, especially JMK, Jedi teams. I've killed Rey teams with this team. This team is godly S tier, especially for their diverse fractions and their tags alone. They have the Empire tag, they have the unaligned Force user tag, they have the Inquisitor tag, they have the Darkside tag, they have tanks here. Reva is a tank herself. All these other things, it's just such decimation with this team. And they're really good even outside of Grand Arena. In Territory War, you have Grand Inquisitor that has his own Omnicrons. You have the other Inquisitors that have their own Omnicrons as well. This whole team is just absolutely amazing. This team is just still at the top, and especially if you're going up against this team on defense, there are not many counters to this team on defense, especially if you don't know what you're doing. This team will absolutely make your life miserable if you do not know how to handle this team. Now, there are a few counters like Bane, Darth Bane, for example. Bane, I can't say how many times I've used Bane to kill this team. Regardless, Bane destroys this. He kills everything. Darth Malgus has a high success win rate against this team as well. Captain Rex Phoenix can sometimes beat this team, unless if Grand Inquisitor inflicts the torture on Captain Rex. If he opens his torture on Captain Rex, then it's basically a GG, because it prevents attacking out of turn. Captain Rex just stands there like a dumbass. He can't do anything. I've had it happen to me before, where Grand Inquisitor would just open up with the torture on Rex, and then it's just game over. But it is a possible counter to kill Reva and her Inquisitors. Outside of the game modes too, this team also gets you Kyrotech. No, I'm not sure about Kyrotech, but also it is a requirement for Rise of the Empire just to unlock Reva on her own, and then Reva is the final reward which transforms this team. Also with Grand Inquisitor, we have a pilot here who controls the scythe. We have two pilots actually. We have Grand Inquisitor and we have Fifth Brother. So this team also synergizes into a ship, which also leads and synergizes to the Executrix and the Chimera fleet, which the Scythe is a really good ship. Yeah, so the only downside to this team though, it is extremely Kyrotech heavy. However, if you were lucky enough, or if you bought the Lightspeed bundles for the Inquisitors to unlock Grand Inquisitor, then you shouldn't really have to be worrying about Kyrotech. I'm sorry if you didn't get the Lightspeed bundle for the Inquisitors, but if you are one of those that got the bundle for the Inquisitors, all more power to you. Congrats to you. You saved a bunch of Kyrotech, because at the end game, this team is what you want to have at all times. And another good thing about this team is that Reva, you only need really one Omnicron, and that's on her lead with the death mark, because this death mark thing here is what, like, this team is ridiculous in Grand Arena. It still is, and it will probably forever always will be. This team in high Grand Arena, Kyber 2, Kyber 1, this team is still there rocking to this day. But like I said, overall terms of quality, this team is amazing. Outside of a Grand Arena, this team is very good. You can use it in all modes, especially in TW with some Omnicrons there. This team is very versatile when it comes to fractions and tags. As I stated before, this team inflicts a serious amount of debuffs that is unbearable. And this team is also needed and required for Rise of the Empire as well. And you also have the Scythe ship that synergizes with this team, because Grand Inquisitor and Fifth Brother are pilots for that ship. But overall, this team is just straight S tier. But other than that, I'm going to go to my number one ranking. Alright folks, and to end it here, no other number one team to farm, non-GL team, Quadme. I honestly have no words. This team is amazing in every game mode, especially in Grand Arena and in TW. Master Qui-Gon has his own Omnicron for TW. This team, you can do some other weird shenanigans and pull-offs, crazy stuff as well. With the Galactic Republic, obviously you want to have the main trio, Quadme, Master Qui-Gon, and Padawan Obi-Wan, and then the rest, the last two, is up to you. Personally, I like to have Padme here and Jedi Knight Anakin. They have a nice synergy together, and also because the Galactic Republic, they fit well in this team as well. This team, I have to say, is number one just because of the raid score too. This team gives you a very well raid score too. All the other teams that I've listed can't give you they're not usable in the raid, right? And this team is what makes it stand out to all the other teams that I've listed in this video, because just let alone they're usable in the raid. Queen Amidala, Master Qui-Gon, Padawan Obi-Wan, then you can have maybe R2 in there, Shakti, or Yoda, whatever your heart's desire. But just the fact alone that this team is actually usable in the current raid and gets you the nice return investment in the raid currency, the raid tokens and stuff like that. And this team has a nice investment when it comes to the Duel of the Fate Assault battles. We have Padawan Obi-Wan and Master Qui-Gon here that gives you the nice mods, the credits, the crystals, the relic materials, and all that stuff. This team has a really, really nice return in investment. When assault battles, in Grand Arena, it performs well. In TW, it performs well. And Rise of the Empire, it performs well, especially within like the first 2 or 3 phases. It does usually pretty good. And even in Conquest, like my man Padawan Obi-Wan has his own Omnicron in Conquest, which is just absolutely insane. Something that's very unique to this team, which other teams really don't have that. And it comes to Conquest, like I said, terms of quality, amazing. Return investment, amazing. With gear, with relic materials, crystals, mods, stuff like that. And like I said, the most important is the raid score, because all the other teams that are listed here are not usable in the current raid. And if you're not doing the current raid, your guild is not getting the most beneficial return investment if you're not doing the current raid. So that's why this team has to be at the #1 top of the list. Especially that it's a non-GL team. This team can take out some GLs too. It's a very good on defense. You can even use this on offense. You could do basically whatever you want with this team. The only downside to this team is that it really has no fleets, unfortunately. For example, like this could be a little contradictory, because I have Jedi Knight Anakin here, and he has his own starfighter, his own ship. But like, would you rather have Scythe, or would you rather have Jedi Knight Anakin starfighter? Like Scythe can do a lot more than Anakin's ship. So you know what I'm saying? Like it's all like variable dependent on what you're doing with this team. And but overall, this team doesn't really have fleets investment or anything like that. It's just its own team like the other teams. It's not really as important like how Beskar Mando was with Bo Mandalore, how he has the Razor Crest, because that ship is really important for the Executive Arm. Like how Grand Inquisitor and 5th Brother can pilot the Scythe. That ship is really important for Executrix and or Chimera. And then Anakin here, I have Anakin. Yeah, he controls his own starfighter ship, which goes with Negotiator. But like Negotiator is not really at the top of the game as meta as it once used to be, compared to the other ships and fleets in this game today. But overall, in terms of quality, amazing S tier team. You could use it outside of any mode in Grand Arena. Gives you the salt battles, return investment. Use it in Rote, Conquest, you name it. This team is absolutely amazing around the board. I suggest heavily farming this. This took me way too long to get Quadme. I've had the Poncho Bros way longer than I've had Quadme herself. Once I finally got her, as soon as the next raid hit, I increased my score by nearly 2 million just because of this team alone. So happy with this team. I cannot stress it enough. So other than that, let me guys know what you think of my tier listing for the best top 5 non-GL teams that you should or could be farming in this game if you're deciding to go and take a break from major big farms, from fleets or GLs themselves. But other than that, I had a interesting but fun time filming this video. I know it was a long one. It's another long video, but other than that, I will definitely see y'all in the next one. I'm Insidious as always, and thanks for watching. Peace. I'll see you in the next one.